everybody. Here we are back for another episode at the Cougar-licious Clubhouse. And today we have some fabulous guests for you today. And we have Dana Daye, who's a very popular local singer, and we have Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson is also very well known for his musical talents around town. But before we get started today, I just want to say a thank you once again to our sponsor, Linder Health Skincare. Linder Health, it's healthcare for your skin. They're formulating the future, and they just keep me fresh and glowing for years and years and years. And I just love this product, so be sure you tune in for that. And as we all know, when we talk about Cougar-licious, Cougar-licious is all about women who stand in their own power, celebrate the divine diva, and enjoy a little eye candy. And that's who we have here today. So to get started, I would like to talk with Dana Daye. And she, as I said, very popular singer here in town.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and fabulous voice. She sings all over town in so many different venues, but you're originally from San Francisco.
I'm from San Francisco, and my family, I was a third generation San Franciscan.
Wow.
And then I moved down the peninsula, which like San Bruno, San Mateo, Burlingame. So I grew up on the peninsula and lived in the city, yes.
And did you sing when you were young?
Yes, when I was a little girl, I took guitar lessons, and my mother put me in shows and talent shows, and I would do big auditoriums of, like I did the San Francisco Gem and Mineral Association show, and somebody was sick, and I did the whole half hour or hour.
Isn't that fabulous? And when you're a little kid doing this, it's just something that you automatically perform. You automatically
just do it. Yeah.
Right. There's no stage fright or anything.
I didn't have any, and I did talent shows all through school, playing the guitar and singing, and I was born with a musical gene.
I think so. I think you're right, because it's exactly a very similar story for myself. I mean, I started dancing when I was 5. I mean, I think I could still perform my very first routine, the kitty cat routine that we did at 5 years old. But it's true. I mean, I got on the stage and that spotlight hit, and I was home. I had to just find my place, as you went along. Yeah. So did you major in that in school, or did you do
After
performing
high school,
arts?
I went to Skyline College, and I was a music major, and I did one semester, and then my mother said, "Get a full-time job," and she was not a school type of mother that wanted her kids to go to school, so I had no choice. So I moved out really young, and then
at what age?
I moved out at 18.
That's
but
our generation.
In and out, and then I was back. I was out for good at 23. But I did go to San Francisco City College, and I took piano. And
did you perform in different?
I never really finished. I just took enough, and I did like one semester, but I ended up not doing. I can still pick up the guitar, and if somebody doesn't know, they would think, "Wow, she plays the guitar." But I'm singing songs like "Leaving on a Jet Plane" from that era when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
But I'm more prone to just singing now.
Yeah. And so, what brought you to Las Vegas?
I moved here to buy a house. I transferred with my job. I won't talk about the bad relationship. And then I stayed here.
I think we all have a few of those.
Yeah. It was. I came here for a man.
Definitely.
I came here for a man. And I don't
did
really.
Too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. The eye candy has a voice. I stayed, I transferred, I was in cosmetics. I transferred to the Neiman Marcus here, needless markup as they call it. And I worked there for many years. And then I went to Nordstrom and eventually sold my house 2014. Tried to move home, couldn't even rent an apartment. It was so expensive. I worked at San Francisco Nordstrom. I'm giving you the long version. And then I ended up coming back in 2015 and I started getting back into singing.
I see.
But I skipped a little part in that. In my 20s, I started recording. I was a recording artist in the Bay Area.
Nice.
And
nice.
I'm on several 12-inch dance singles.
Wow.
That people still post. 'Cause once in a while I'll type it in and then I'll see the albums on eBay. I'll put that, they're selling for like $50 now. So that was
That's
like another
fascinating.
lifetime.
And it
though.
seemed to be like that was a time period when there was a lot of opportunity for different artists, musicians and singers.
It seemed to be,
Yeah, there were a lot of recording studios and people getting those opportunities. I think even Cher, wasn't she like a backup singer or something for the Shirelles or something?
Something.
Yeah.
With Phil Spector.
There you go. There you go. Did you ever meet Phil Spector?
Did I?
Yeah,
No. No, I only saw him on TV and, with his crazy hair. He had crazy hair.
Yeah,
didn't he?
well, those artists,
I'm just trying to be funny. But
So
no,
what are
I
you
do
doing
respect-
now? What are you up to now?
I just made a CD.
You did?
With Street Corner Entertainment.
Wow.
That's Stevie Dunham.
Well, let's see. What do you do? Yay. Let's see.
And
What do
he
you bring?
designed the cover. Mm-hmm. And
What type of songs are on that?
so this is kind of a tribute to the artists of the 60s and 70s. So I have Jackie DeShannon, Lulu. Mm-hmm. I've got Dusty Springfield. There's a group called The Toys, A Lover's Concerto, the Ronettes, the Chiffons, and
So a lot of that 50s, 60s era?
Yes.
That type of dance music and...
well, kind of like To Sir with Love and Son of a Preacher Man.
Oh, I
and,
love that song.
Those kind of, because I have kind of a lower voice and kind of a soulful lower voice, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I've been told for years, you kind of sound like Dusty Springfield, or people say that you sound like Lulu. And it's comfortable for me to do that kind of music. Mm-hmm. So I put a whole CD together of that kind of music.
Beautiful.
And,
And so who accompanies you in your
these were all tracks of music that I got from my producer. Mm-hmm. And
isn't it fabulous the way everything could be done today with all the the different technology and the tracks and
avoiding live musicians, of course.
although I would prefer live musicians.
That's true.
I love singing with live musicians, and that's what in the Bay Area. Sorry, I'm going to go back. I started my career in my 20s. I sang at cabaret clubs throughout San Francisco.
How fun.
With a pianist.
How fun.
I never knew of tracks.
Mm-hmm. Well, there weren't any back then. I mean, unless you went to a studio. Is that right, Steve?
Exactly,
Yeah. And I really think that when you have live musicians, there's a certain resonance that happens, whether you're singing or whether you're dancing. There's a certain resonance that happens where the musician can see where you're going and you can feel where the music is going. And I think you get a much richer experience as a result.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do. And it's just like when I sing now, I'm doing the Composer's Room and the Tavern. And
yeah, you're there now, right?
I am there. I'll be there on the 8th of April.
Okay, great.
Yes. And I prefer live musicians because I want to put a little show together, something to do with my CD, and it will be a kind of, talking about the different artists that I've recorded
that you're showcasing
their
on your
songs, and a little history about them, and then singing their songs.
Well, that's fabulous.
But I want to do that with, of course, live musicians.
And now you've
Wink,
also
wink to the eye candy.
wink, wink. See,
I like this.
You like this. You could get used to this,
You
right?
guys keep talking. I enjoy this. Thank you. I'm just sitting here.
You're doing good
I'm
with
doing.
eye candy.
I've been doing
He's
what
literally
I've been
eye
told
candy.
to do.
That's it.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is nothing, but look good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
With a little sugar on top.
Wow.
So now you've also performed for the Aviators as well. Did you do
I
an
did the
opening for that?
national anthem 2 different times, yes. And I did the first full capacity crowd that they had back after COVID. The first time they allowed, I think it was like 10,000. So I was there
that's
that
exciting.
day.
That must have been very exciting.
Yes.
So your mother's got to be proud of you now, right?
Up in heaven.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm sure she's looking down and smiling
Well,
at
my
you.
mother sang with Johnny Mathis in high school at the school assemblies. And they said she sounded like K-Star. And she used to sing, every time it rains, pennies from heaven. So my mother was a singer, and her mother, Nanny Francis Klein, accompanied my grandmother and played by ear.
Wow.
And then I was born, they said I was humming back the nursery rhymes when they would watch me and hold me before I spoke or crawled or anything.
Just automatically
So
connected
I think
to that.
I literally believe that there's a gene that people are born with that makes them musically inclined.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do
definitely.
you have that, Steve?
You have that gene?
My dad and my mom and my brother were also musical. So
There you go.
yeah, I understand that.
So
Like you, as
In the
much as
family.
you. Forget me. Let's talk to Steve.
No, I'm enjoying your story. I didn't know your background.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
known
I
you
have
for several years.
Because I put the music behind me for so many years. Because I got divorced, I got married, and he didn't want me to sing. He wrote down on a napkin one day, "You will not sing without my permission."
Oh,
And
really?
He wrote that.
Oh, yeah,
And
really?
I took it and I ripped it up
for
and I
you.
flushed it. And we weren't married. He didn't start out that way. He met me. I would say, "Okay, I'm going to be recording tonight, and I'll be coming home. I'll meet you later." And he liked that. But then when we were together, music was the enemy. And so I was afraid to sing.
So how long were you married?
Well, we were married, we were together a little over 10 years. But then when I got divorced, I had to raise, I think they were 5 and 7 or 4 and 6. So I basically put music behind
Right.
me. You don't know this. And I didn't want to leave my daughters at home alone at night. So all I did was work. I was very unhappy. I didn't date. I met. Oh, that's another story. One guy, but that we won't talk about.
We won't
that.
talk about him.
But I basically I felt like I was a racehorse with the blinders,
Well,
just going. I was trying to reach the finish line of raising my daughters, and I didn't. And even they learned from him. They thought singing was the enemy. So I started pulling back with my singing. I still do it. I'm kind of like because I lived it for so many.
I understand. And this is what a lot of women's stories are like. A lot of their lives have been put on hold because of life's circumstances. And this is why I really am pushing and developing the Cougar-licious idea in terms of being able to celebrate women, because that takes a lot of control. It takes a lot of power, a lot of self-empowerment in order to push through those things, and then to see you kind of reap the benefits of all of that. And I just applaud you for it, and I admire you for it so much. Yes.
The music, even if I don't want to do it, people will call, "Hey, you want to do this or that?" It's just a part of me, and I was kind of resisting it because I became so used to singing was kind of like the bad thing to do for so many years.
It's not bad anymore.
And now I'm just singing more.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did
well,
the CD.
Congratulations to you, Dana Daye, and much success and good luck with your CD. And I do want to also remind the viewers out there, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, because we would really love to see you every single week, because we have so many wonderful artists and entertainers and comics that'll be coming onto the show. So like, share, and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to do that. So and the benefit will be yours every single week. So now I want to kind of turn to our eye candy, since we've had a little.
You're embarrassing me.
Steve, I don't think that's possible.
Well, it is.
Steve Johnson.
Nice to see you guys.
It's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
And you are a musician extraordinaire, basically known for your sax, but you play other instruments as well. So
I play all the brass instruments, and violin, guitar, banjo, and all the woodwinds are my specialty. Everything from piccolo to bassoon and the sax, clarinet, flute, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I've seen you perform, and it's always fantastic. But you really play a lot of different venues as well. You do. I know we met at a restaurant. We were at a restaurant that I was doing some performances in, every single week, and he was always so great. Sometimes I'd forget my lines, and he would repeat the line, or he'd give me my line behind me. He'd say, "Hey, this is it." Oh yeah, I forgot that. But he's such a fantastic artist, and you've been in Las Vegas now for what?
Almost 50 years.
Wow!
I got here.
You came here when you were 2, right?
Well, hardly. Wow. I got here in my kind of later 20s, and I'm not in my later 20s anymore, but I was working, before I got here, I was working on the original Love Boat series, actually. I not only was on the physical ship itself, but then I got to know the Aaron Spelling production crew, and then I was doing the background music for the Love Boat. And went all around the world for several years. And for a young guy in his 20s,
that was
wine, women's song, and there you go, baby. I mean, that's the way to go. So.
And I do have to share a little story. I mean, when I first met Steve, we were talking, and I said to him, you seem awfully familiar. You seem so familiar to me, but I couldn't figure out how we could have known each other because you've been here for so long. And I was in San Diego. I mean, I lived in San Diego. I moved there in 1973. So we were trying to figure it out. And then at one point I mentioned San Diego, and Steve said he used to play there. Then it all came together. I don't know why, because I've got that kind of mind that I will remember people's faces, maybe not so much your name, but I will remember faces. And somehow, we made that connection because I was in ballroom dancing at the time, and I was married to my dance partner. When we used to go out dancing all the time in San Diego. We went to all the dance places, and that's all I had to do is mention San Diego. Steve mentioned it, and
I had a very fortunate thing happen to me in San Diego. I was studying at San Diego State radio, television, and film at the time, and I worked at one of the local television stations down there. But at night, I would play. I'm in my dorm room, and you'll never see this. I'm reading the want ads of the San Diego paper. Wanted baritone sax player for Glenn Miller-style orchestra, which is unheard of. You'd never see that. So I call the guy, and he is a former Marine sergeant, retired, and he has this band that plays all over San Diego in officers' clubs and whatnot. And he basically put me through college because I was playing 5 and 6 nights a week. So
and he played in all these ballroom venues, the Mississippi Room, the Cinnamon Cinder. I mean, these places
and
are
that's
just
where you would dance.
And that's what we were always going out dancing. We had the Reuben E. Lee. They had, because in those days, and I'm sure in San Francisco, all over the place, the style of entertainment was you could go to a cocktail lounge, listen to music, and dance, right?
Of course.
You can't really find that anymore. And so Steve was always at these venues that we were dancing in. And isn't that kind of funny, the way
it's a very much of a coincidence. And
it's really a coincidence.
The thing that got me out of San Diego is that, I blame John Travolta.
John Travolta.
Because he came out with Saturday Night Fever, and all the live music venues went to disco. And then a couple of years later, all of them went country with Urban Cowboy.
Right.
So,
that's true. I remember that.
I got an offer to get on the Pacific Princess, and I was doing that. And after that ended, I wound up in Indian Wells outside of
Palm Springs.
It's out now. It's it has convention areas and golf courses. This was one little lone hotel on the highway, and I couldn't handle it anymore. So I wrote to a guy here that I used to see on TV, Mickey Finn.
Mickey Finn's.
I've heard of that name.
Yeah, and he was here for 20 years, and I wrote to him and I said, if you have any openings, he says, coincidentally, I've got an act called Steve and Steve that are leaving. I'm Steve. It was perfect. So he hires me. I send him a tape and pictures, and I work with him for the next 20 years here in town.
That's incredible.
And who was the other Steve? What was their name?
It was so long ago. They were from out of town, but they were a comedy.
But I mean, when they left, was it just you alone, or did you get
No, I
someone
was
else
inside of a show.
Okay.
But I had to learn a dance routine with 2 6-foot-tall showgirls on either side of me, and I was petrified because I'm a musician. I wasn't a dancer.
Yeah.
But I learned to do
Did you
that.
do all right?
I did it after.
I think musicians do make good dancers because you understand music. You already understand music. You already understand tempo and
rhythm-based,
timing
yeah.
and all of that. You just have to take it and apply it to yourself.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause
Except 5, 6, 7, 8. Musicians go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I couldn't understand that.
That's a discussion we would always have because that's what I would always say is 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, what happened to the 1, 2, 3, 4? No, it's 5, 6, 7, 8.
Does Donna look familiar to you too? From San Diego, by any chance? Maybe out of the
Well, we were
audience?
both different back then. I didn't have this hair back then. I buy these in Hollywood now. But no, Donna mentioned the Mississippi Room. That was like going back to 1945. Big dance floor and the band shell.
Yeah, they had a band shell, and they
love
still
it.
have it. They still have it
it's
down
still
there.
going,
It's
huh?
still going. They did renovate it quite a bit, but that band shell down in the dance area
Yeah.
because you have to go downstairs, and it was just this big enormous thing, and it was just really so much fun, and yeah, it's just crazy. But I forget what I was going to say now, but. He always had such a versatile application to all the music that I've ever heard him play. You know, I remember what I really liked was when you used to do the New Orleans, when you did what was that?
When the Saints?
Called?
Bourbon Street
Bourbon
Parade.
Street, yeah.
Yeah, when I got off my shows here in town years ago, there was a guy by the name of Sam Butera, who was Louis Prima's sax player and band leader. I would make a beeline to where he's playing after I got off my shift, and one of the most fabulous players of all time. And then years later, I worked with Louis Prima's daughter, Lena Prima, and she was carrying on her daddy's
Very talented.
tradition.
I've seen her, yeah.
And that's the kind of music I
Yeah.
like, happy music.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Oh, that's what I wanted to mention about Mickey Finn's because Mickey Finn's had a nightclub in San Diego too.
Yes, he did.
At the time.
And I
Yeah.
used to sneak in
Very
there.
honky tonk kind of thing.
I was 19 years old, and I snuck in the back and watched it and said, one day I'm going to play with these guys, and that's what happened.
And that's what happened. You know, it's kind of like when I told people in San Diego I was moving to Las Vegas to become a stand-up comic. Everybody went, what? You're going to what? And that's it. You just set your sights, and it's never too late. It's never, never, never too late. So
You projected it out
Yes.
into the universe, as they say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just want to take another moment at this point in time to thank our sponsors again, Linder Health Skincare. Linder Health Skincare, formulas for the skin. And I just really recommend them highly. So anyway, getting back, do you have any questions for me that you have?
How old are you? No, I can't. Jeez.
I'm old enough, Steve.
Okay.
I think we both go back to San Diego. We're both
teasing.
about the same. We're both about the same.
Good. That's, questions for you. You're at Jimmy Kimmel's?
Yes, I just finished a month residency at Jimmy Kimmel's with Keenan Presents. With Laugh, Vote, and Repeat. And it's a really, really fun show where they have different comics and the audience votes for the comic. And at the end, the comic that they vote for comes back and does more. So I hosted that show for the month, yeah. And I'll be at Wise Guys this coming Sunday in their Sunday night special with John Caparulo. And did some various things. I was doing some work with the Ahern, I think, as you know, and also with Steve McAnally and his showcases over at Rick's Rollin' Barbecue. So, but I just really enjoy it. I mean, I'm here, I'm having a good time, and just meeting fabulous people like you. you know, so.
And
yeah.
what are your plans, or what's coming up next besides what you just said? Anything else?
Well, this right now,
yeah.
yes, this. I really am focusing on this show and bringing talented people like yourself and helping to promote what you do here in Las Vegas, because I really think Vegas has got such a vibrant theater community. I just love the community here. And when I first got here, what I really loved about it is I noticed that women wore eyelashes. Because I always wore eyelashes. And in San Diego, it was a little weird. You know, I'd show up and, you know, I'd have these lashes on. People go, oh. But here, I come here and I just go, oh my God, the grocery clerks have eyelashes on.
I found my people today. This one's kind of drooping down. But
I found my people.
You found your people.
I found my people, absolutely.
Yeah, because in the Bay Area where I'm from, everyone's like earth tones and very plain, and nobody wears bling. But here, it's a
Very
bling
blingy.
Galore. Bling,
Very blingy.
The blingier, the better.
I met a blingy girl a long time ago. There was a place called the Silver Slipper on the Strip, you know, with a big silver shoe on the sign and everything. So we're playing at the Frontier next door. The band goes over to the bar. And I meet this fabulous-looking woman. And we started, you know, having a couple of drinks, and I was getting a little friendly and started kissing her, and the guys are going like this. And there was a show there called Boylesque with female impersonators. She looked good, though. And that's where it ended, though. They caught me in time.
Caught you in time. That could happen.
Ixnay on the girl A.
And she had eyelashes and other stuff, too. So,
Well, you know.
Sometimes the men are more beautiful than women because they dress up so elaborately.
Well, also, I've learned, you know, again, being in the dance business, I have worked with, you know, a lot of people who are transgendered, who are gay. And one of the things that they told me is that one of the reasons for that is that they study women. They study the art of makeup. Probably much more intensely than women do as we're growing up. So they actually make it to the art of perfection, you know, and in this case, apparently she did.
Well, I've studied women quite a while, but I never went across that line.
And that's why you're our eye candy.
Well, yeah, come on.
You are.
Oh, anyway, I'd like to thank our guests for being here tonight because we were running out of time. And again, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Be the first online to get the episodes as we're going along. We're going to be on every single week, okay? So I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you, Linder Healthcare, and take it away.
Cougar-licious, in my power I rise without